All right, kind of. You mentioned the Bill Belichick that
Yep.
before he took the. You reported that before he took the UNC coaching job, he actually reached out to the Jets if they had interest in,
Yeah.
interviewing him for the head coach job. Give the historical drama between Woody Johnson and Belichick. I think there was a point when Belichick wouldn't even say the Jets' name, right? I think
Correct.
there was like years we wouldn't even say the Jets.
They did the Bill for Bill documentary. They wouldn't go in the Jets locker room. They did the Bill for Bill. Yeah.
Do you think this would have really worked out? I mean, what is that? Come on. I don't understand it. Please explain.
Well, yeah, so give Diana Rossini of The Athletic a lot of credit for this one. She's the one who broke the story. And in fact, when it first came out, I saw it. I was like, no damn way. Like Diana is very, very good at what she does. And I trust almost everything that comes out of her mouth or that she writes. But this was one of those things where like I saw it and I was like in my head immediately like, no freaking way. Not that I didn't believe Diana, but just the story seemed so absurd and ridiculous that I was like, it can't be true. There's no way that it can be true. I called two different people at the Jets. They both confirmed the story, and then a second source said, hey, here's one that's better for you. Bill is the one who called us. So I think that what this was, and let's be honest, Bill Belichick didn't suddenly develop an immense love for the Jets organization. He didn't suddenly knock on Woody Johnson's door, walk in and with a bottle of bourbon and say, hey guys, let's bury the hatch here and let's become best friends now. That is not the situation. He still has the feelings that he's had for this organization, still has his feelings that he had for Woody Johnson. All of that is why it's kind of like, how is this even possible? What this tells me, Jeane, and this is reading very clearly between the lines, is that the opportunities that Bill Belichick has expected to be there for him on the NFL level when he left the Patriots, they have not been there. And this discussion with the Jets, basically it was Bill calling them to express interest in their head coaching vacancy and judge whether or not the Jets had an interest in Bill Belichick as well. What the Jets told him is that, look, we'll go through the interview process, but we're not just going to hand you the job right now in December. We're not just going to be like, oh, wow, Bill Belichick called us. Sweet. Yeah, here, the job is yours. This is going to be a thorough search. The Jets are going to talk to experienced people, inexperienced people. They're going to cast a very wide net, and then judging off of those interviews that they have, they are going to identify the right candidate that they believe is going to lift them out of this 14-year playoff drought, and then they're going to do everything that they can to put that man on their sideline. If that ended up being Bill Belichick, great. If it ended up being Mike Vrabel, Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn, or a number of these other candidates they're going to speak to, it could be that as well. I don't think that Bill Belichick, knowing how prideful he is, knowing how much it probably took for him to even call the Jets, I don't think that he was willing to go through another year like last year where he went all in for the Falcons job and didn't get it. For him to go all in for the Jets job and not get it, the Giants job, not get it, I don't think his ego could handle that. So when the Jets said, look, we'll talk to you, but we're not totally in on this, that's when he went to UNC.
JJ, before I ask you a question, I have to say I love Samantha, I don't know who did this, our producer, the heel turn. That's like straight up WWE, that's right up my alley. Anyways, JJ, how much level control would Woody be willing to relinquish to get the hire he wants at coach or GM?
I'd have to think he'd be more than willing, Jeane. I mean, they have the longest drought of any team in professional sports when it comes to making the playoffs. If I owned the team and somebody, for example, like Mike Vrabel came my way and was more than willing to say, hey, this is how we need to do things, I'd be willing to listen. That to me is the way Woody Johnson should approach this. Be willing to listen. And I think Connor nailed it when it comes to Belichick. I think Belichick wanted to be in the NFL, but he didn't want to be embarrassed. And last year, he was absolutely embarrassed. He thought he was getting this job. He thought he was getting that job. And he was left at the altar. And this is the greatest NFL head coach of all time. And he wasn't going to deal with that. And I also think the reason he called the Jets, he doesn't love Robert Kraft at this point in time. So I'm sure that dangling carrot of, hey, I have the opportunity to stick it to my former boss twice a year, all of a sudden becomes appealing. But when you're talking about being one of many, Bill Belichick with his history with the Jets, that was going to go out the window. And now he can go and have some fun in the ACC with Dabo and Franny Brown and see what he can do at North Carolina. I'm intrigued.
Yeah, so am I. The NIL deal, good luck with that, Bill.